The major objective for this workshop is maybe to have our full-time and part-time instructors to understand the ABET process a little bit better, particularly the part of the task that maybe you have to do in your class to have a better understanding. So we will cover the overview, the general process. Then we have a few full-time faculty who has done this before in lower level computer science courses and also up level computer science courses. Going to show some example and see how they collect data, how they use the data. I think it's kind of important to understand the data, what we are asking for, understand the intent, understand the meaning. So I think it will be easier for you when you plan your class. If it's late for this measure, maybe some adjustment might be, okay, and particularly in the future, and see, how you're gonna integrate some of these things required by ABET into your curriculum, into your syllabus, into your teaching. So when it's time to collect data, it will be easier. Okay, so, this I already planned out in advance. So this will be. This is for this PI, this is for this PI. Okay. And also, since we're going to take this, maybe we can save the question later. We have a Q&A session, and during the Q&A session, we can answer all the questions you have. Okay. And thank you so much for coming, particularly for Saturday. So we have the chair.
Okay, good morning everyone. I don't really need 20 minutes, but he assigned 20 minutes for me. 5 minutes or less. Good morning everyone. Thank you really so much for attending our retreat, and also really appreciate your additional effort and time and giving us great help in preparing our ABET beginning into 2020. 2 years later, I think it's exactly 4 semester later. So, as you are all aware, that assessment is not really to assess instructors. Assessment is actually to assess our curriculum and also student learning, and eventually to give us opportunity to improve our curriculum and think about strategy to improve our student learning. We will never ever actually use our assessment data to evaluate any instructors. So otherwise, we're not going to get any support from the instructor. It's not going to work. So I'm pretty sure you all know that, and especially the assessment activities, we're going to have the special data collection, preparation, and analysis for the next 4 semesters. It's going to be very important for us to prepare the 2020 visit. And we got the team of assessment, especially from the ABET, will come to our institution and evaluate our process and also curriculum and what we do usually. So because they really look at the process and also our effort to improve the process and also student learning, and we don't really need to have a great program dedicated. So as long as we provide the evidence to them dedicated and we try to improve our student learning, then I think usually that's really acceptable. So that's our really focus, basically. So because of that, the assessment activity is really different from the institution to institution. We don't have to be Stanford University. We have the own goal and need. So we usually focus on that kind of goals really this out. And also, I think that's most of the important point I want to try to make. And today, Dr. Cong is going to lead this. All the possible activity and useful tips. And also we have a team of assessment committee, mainly Doina, Paul, and also Mikhail, and Anand, and several other people. Then we have more members actually in the committee, but they couldn't come because they are prior commitments. And also I also received a separate email from adjunct faculty members too. They want to come, but then they have arrangements they couldn't come. So really appreciate your time and effort again, and hopefully then Dr. B coming today, then we will give clear ideas, especially if it's your first time. I know several of you already have experience with assessment, and especially Dr. B.
I'm a rookie.
Yeah, this this expert actually in CMMI and appraisal. The CMMI appraisal, as you know, it's all about process improvement. When basically to produce high quality software. But our goal is what? Produce highly capable students. So if we switch the software by student, then basically exactly the same thing. So hopefully then that become the really great ideas on how we can actually prepare our assessment and also improve our class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christopher. Yeah, it's very important that we assess the process. We do not assess people. So the data we collected will not use for like performance evaluation. Okay, so I think that's an important principle actually for any type of appraisal. And also this is really a teamwork. Christopher mentioned our assessment team almost consists of half of our faculty. So we have actually a lot of faculty did a lot of work, and they helped me a lot because, as I mentioned, I'm a rookie. I'm also try to learn the process and try to learn all the procedure and try to learn the intent, a lot of things, and try to put a lot of data together. Try to understand the big picture, try to understand each specific step, and also understand the assessment. What I'll try to do is give an overview. So we have a big picture, and then probably under this framework, maybe you will understand what you need to do a little bit better. What ABET accreditation means. So why this is important? We need to answer the question of why. In the United States, there are 637 U.S. universities have been accredited. It's a recognized benchmark. For a school like Cal State Fullerton, this is extremely important. So without that, that probably means we're not going to survive. Because what we teach, that probably does not meet the common benchmark and required by the community. So this is important. If we are not accredited, I think many students probably will not come to us, okay, because the degree they got will have less weight. Okay, so this is, practically speaking, this for us is a must. So it's very important. When we talk about the process for the ABET, we probably can divide this into 3 parts. And one part is we have to do the preparation. Okay, so this preparation process is actually an ongoing process. So it's not like, this is not assessment driven. Okay, this actually should be improvement driven. Okay, so it should be institutionalized and it should be a routine work. And we're going to collect data. We're going to analyze data, and we're going to use data and to conduct internal evaluation, and then we have to do some improvement activity. Okay, so obviously, since we are in a university, we're not in the software industry. In software industry, you improve your process. You improve your testing process, your architecture process, your design process, okay, your management process. But in school, we teach. Okay, so basically we have to improve our curriculum, and also we have to improve our individual courses, and also we have to improve our teaching. So in order to do that. But how do we know where we need to improve? How do we identify the weak point? Okay, and if we have this process concept, it's usually come from data. Okay, so we look at data. Then we see where we are doing great. Yeah, obviously you should continue to do that. And which part that we are not meeting the objective, and how we will be able to improve. Okay, so that's part of the preparation. Okay, and one of the key, the main thing we're talking about today, mostly is related to data collection. Okay, so which will serve as a foundation for assessment, and also for evaluation, and also for improvement. Okay. The second phase is on-site visit. Christopher already mentioned. There will be an on-site visit, I think it's going to be fall 2020. This is 18, so 2 years, a relatively short period of time. The reason is when we talk about the preparation, if you're familiar with PDCA, there's a loop. Okay, when we go through the assessment, we have to show the whole loop. We can't just show that we collect data. Okay, so we have to show how we use this data. And also we need to show how we use data to do improvement. Then we have to show what's the result. Okay, so you need to show this whole loop. And so obviously 2 years sounds like a long time, it's really not. Okay, so because, for each course we talk about the semester. Okay, so one semester we're going to see the result next semester. So we're pretty much talking about including this semester only 4 semesters. Okay, when they show up, just like CMI appraisal, or they're going to look at a document. The document will be the course material. Okay, and they look at the student project, they look at assignment, they look at exam. So those are the typical artifact, right? And that will be generated when we do teaching. Okay, how do we know students actually meet the learning goal? And so you have to show some actual proof, actual evidence. Okay, so maybe there's some other the outcome. And also, I don't care how you document. You can never replace face-to-face communication, because they just look at the homework, they probably won't be 100% understand everything. So there will be an interview. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot of relevant stakeholder. I'm using my term. Okay, we have a lot of relevant stakeholder. So relevant stakeholder basically means any change in the process, you will be affected. So obviously our student will be relevant stakeholder, all our instructors will be relevant stakeholders. So they're going to interview all the relevant stakeholders to understand the document we provided. What's the context? Okay, so then they're going to make a judgment. Obviously, they're also going to learn a lot about the things you have to check. For example, infrastructure support. Okay, and a lot of other support, how administrative staff or people, the dean, the university, how they support the program. They also need to look at the lab, the facilities. Okay, do we have adequate lab security and a facility? And also a student help center. So we have a student help center. How we help those students who are struggling in their class. So they basically look at a lot of things, and they review all that stuff. Then they come out with a conclusion. Okay, see if we meet the criteria, we can get accreditation. Okay, so it's good, I think, for 6 years. Okay, and I guess our goal is to meet the criteria, and hopefully we don't have to do the on-site assessment for another 6 years. But we still obviously have to do the preparation because it's an ongoing process. Okay, and obviously after the second phase there will be a follow-up. The assessment team will write a report. Okay, so in the report, just like the CMI assessment, you also have to write a report. So you're going to highlight like what are the strengths, the best practice, and what are the weaknesses. They have different terminology, I guess, in terms of severity. I'm still trying to understand what I mean. They have concerns, they have weaknesses, they have maybe deficiencies. Okay, and they're going to list that. Okay, and obviously then we have to respond. There will be a draft. We need to respond. Okay? So they give us a chance to say, hey, you probably misunderstood this part, or we forgot about to show you the evidence for this, and you provide some sort of feedback. Then they look at it, and then they come back with the final report and also with their final decision. Okay, and obviously one thing we need to do is just like a CMI appraisal. Any concern, weakness, recommendation, deficiency listed, we have to address them. And so we cannot ignore them. I guess in the next round, we have to show what we did. Okay, so I guess, for example, one thing, we're doing some curriculum change. Okay, we try to hire some more faculty member. So I guess one of the reasons we're doing that is the concerns, or the identified, or weakness identified in the previous assessment. This workshop, I guess what I probably, the workshop will be focused on the first phase. Okay. I guess I'm gonna, since I don't want to spend too much time, That's one of the reasons we have the printout and some of the detailed stuff. I'm going to maybe go through a couple of examples and that maybe you can read the rest of them. One thing I want to do is maybe present the overall framework, okay, when we conduct our assessment. This framework has been worked out before by the previous assessment committee, and we have many current assessment committee members that have been working on this for many years, done an excellent job. I think we do have a solid foundation. Okay, so there are many previous assessment committee. Okay, so for example, all the material I got is from James, so I was so reuse. So this is good. So if we have to create everything from scratch, it's going to be a lot of work. So yeah, so this is ongoing, and I think we are doing a good job. And obviously, one of the things we can do better is institutionalize this. Okay, so make this like a part of the process. It doesn't matter who served on assessment committee, doesn't matter who the instructor for the courses. We pretty much follow the same practice. Okay. And one thing I want to cover is the framework. I call this. This is not an ABET term. Okay. I call this OOI. We have an objective, outcomes, indicator. Actually, we have another one, courses. Okay. So the basic idea here, this framework, the basic idea is there is a program educational objective. So ABET, they set some objective, usually the high level. And so obviously we need to meet those objectives. But how do we link those objectives? They are very abstract. How do we link those objectives to our curriculum? I'm having trouble with the curriculums, okay? And also courses. And we need to build some intermediate stuff, okay? So, after the objective, and then they also give us some so-called student learning outcome. Okay, so in a way, there is totally traceable. It's totally traceable. Okay, and for each objective, they also give you a few outcomes you need to achieve. So in a sense, we can understand if we obtain those outcomes, that means this objective is also met. Okay, those outcomes a little bit more specific. Still, how do we actually achieve those outcomes? Then at the third layer, we have something called a performance indicator. That's where we need to do something. That's pretty much the operational level. Okay, the indicator basically some sort of metrics. Okay, so far we have. Like right now, the old one, so the ABET, they're just like CMI. They also update from time to time. Okay, so now CMI, we go from 1.3 to 2.0. Okay, and ABET now, they also change. The objective is still the same. The student learning goal, they reduced from 11 to 6. Okay, so they did a lot of simplification, they did a lot of consolidation. Okay, and performance indicator under the old structure, I think we have 35. We have 35 performance indicators. In a way, you can see as a 35 metrics. Okay, so those are very, very specific. You're gonna see this. We have the definition, operational definition for all of them. So those are the important indicators we all need to understand. We need to understand the intent. And all the examples will be given, and they're going to show how they collect and those indicators. For your class, maybe you only need to collect 2 or 3, so not that many. Okay. Together, to cover the old 11 student learning goal, we designed at our previous assessment committee, come up with 35 indicators. And also we try to, we are also in the process, hopefully we can finish this in October. We're going to actually refine, maybe simplify some of the indicators. So we might reduce to less number. Okay? And then for each indicator, then we have some courses linked to this. Okay, so this is, and then obviously we're going to use the data later on to do the improvement. So this is the overall assessment and evaluation process. So maybe this is the whole picture. Okay, so you can see we have the part. So we set up the framework. Okay, so we have a lot of outcome, and then we need to collect the data. So this is the part that's relevant for us. Collect data, analyze data, and also this part we have to review and also do some improvement. Okay, so today we basically focus on the data collection. Okay, I'm not going to get into the detail of all those. Some of you probably already knew this. You can find this in our website. So the department, we have a computer science mission statement. Okay, and so this is those are the three. We call that the PEOs, the big objectives. Okay, so eventually we must meet those three big objectives. And for each the objective, we have 11 objectives. For each objective, then we come up with 35 performance indicators. So those are, by the way, those are the old 11 student learning objectives. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the new version got only 6. Okay, so we go from A to K. Okay, so I think it's more important for us to hear how we actually collect data. I'm not going to go through the details. You probably can read it. Okay, and the new one will be only 6. This is 11, and this is the mapping. Okay, so on the left side we have the objective. On the right side we have the student learning outcome. Okay, this is under the old structure. Okay, here are some of the specific ones. Okay, so the mapping between the student learning goal and also to mapping to our specific performance indicator. For example, if you go through this, it seems like under each outcome we have like 3 performance indicator. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every one of them. Again, I think it's important. Maybe you can read this. Okay. And this, we can also refine this. Okay, so this is the mapping between all the undergraduate courses, the 4 important courses, with the performance indicator. If you look at this, for example, if you're teaching 120, and those are the indicator, the new one. Those are the 2 indicators that you have to address. Okay, so you have to provide data. Okay, so if you look at this, it seems like we try to, we also try, if we can, reduce the number of indicators for each class. So maybe no more than 2. Not a promise, but we try to, and out because all the metrics are also cost. Okay, and so this is we may refine this, because after we improve the chart, okay, the mapping chart based on the new student learning outcomes. Okay? And those are the 6 new student learning outcomes. You can compare the new one with the old one. Okay, you see a lot of consolidation. Okay, they also try to see, I think it's a good thing. That seems like the ABET also tried to simplify this, and that also means maybe hopefully less work for the institution. And again, so today we're going to talk about, Dolina is going to talk about how we actually do the data collection. Okay? And I guess many of you have received a lot of emails from her last semester. Okay? A very simple summary, we understand the framework. Okay, so objective, outcome, indicator, and also a class. Okay, so we have hopefully understanding of that. And the PI basically is the bridge, served by the bridge in terms of linking the outcome to the courses. Okay, and just very similar for any measurement program. And obviously the instructor plays the key role in this whole process. Okay, because the indicator are things generated at the classroom. And obviously, hopefully we do this, improvement will be permanent. For example, we see some things in 121 that we can do better. and the improvement hopefully will be there, and whoever teach it will benefit. Okay, so I think that's also the concept of process improvement. By the way, here are some of the things this assessment committee we need to do. And obviously we need to refine objective, outcome, PI mapping. And also we're going to review the curriculum based on the new outcome, based on refine the PI. And also hopefully we want to establish a process and also enforcement policy to ensure this thing is institutionalized. Okay, so it's kind of easier to put everything on paper. It's always difficult to actually carry it out in classroom. Okay? And then we hopefully we try to make this easier. For example, we're going to see, they're going to point that out as one of the ABET requirements. It's all the first syllabus must clearly describe class, high-level class objective. Okay? And then we need to do some data collection, internal and external. So improvement, not you see we talk about outcome. Obviously, we also need to look at Mikhail, we're going to talk about exit review, okay, survey. And so we need to learn, we need to see what happened after they go through the whole program. Alumni survey, how are we doing? And also industry advisory board. So we have internal data that we all contribute, and also we're going to get some external data. Okay? And hopefully we're going to do some analysis and get feedback from faculties this semester. Maybe we can do some improvement, identify some improvement opportunity, and we'll have a plan to improve, and maybe some other things. Finally, there are a couple of days we need to understand. There will be a last assessment, and that's going to be next year. But they also have different the PI goals, and our current PI actually will adequately, if I'm not mistaken, adequately meet their objective. So we should be okay if we do our work, collect data, and then use the data. And the ABET, we need a couple of important milestones by June 30. And we need to come out with a self-study report. So that's the due date. And so before the assessment team show up, they need to have that. They need to read it first. Okay, so they need to see, that will drive what they're going to see outside. And so this obviously is important. The actual outside date will be fall 2020. Okay, so I guess date will be determined later. Okay? That's all I got. Thank you.